皆さんどうもごきげんよう、クレディニキです。本日もお一人語学部復唱する編ということで、英単語の方やっていきたいと思います。お願いします。出てない。5。はい。お願いします。Conciliate。Conciliate か。Unit 5。Conciliate。The ambassador made attempts to conciliate both sides in the international conflict. Perfunctory. The customer service representative is only ever gives perfunctory advice. Repatriate. The government finally cancelled its plan to repatriate refugees. Traverse. It took them 5 days to traverse the vast desert. Bridle. He bridled at the suggestion that he was dishonest. Queasy. The rocking of the board made me queasy. Grapple. The NGO is grappling with how to address world hunger. Rivet. Fans were livid and the referee's bad calls caused the team to lose. Zeal. The mayor was on a problem with great zeal. Stupor. He drank himself in the stupor last night and could not even find his way home. Harrowing. Her work is about harrowing experiences of sexual assault. Brazen. They show a brazen disregard for the law. Elucidation. The scientist's work led to the elucidation of the impacts of the disease. Repair. He used knitting to repel birds from his garden. Scamper. The small animal scampered around the middle of joy. Meander. The Annapolis River meanders along the Ringsted Valley. Forest River. Despondent. He looks very despondent about the loss of his dog. Wade. She waded through the shallow water of the lake. Inquisitive. Young children are inquisitive by nature. Chastise. His parents chastise him for staying out too late. Retard. A study suggests certain chemicals may retard children's brain development. Complexion. People with a preeclampsia tend to evolve more easily. Constellation. The first constellation Shiva found was the Big Dipper. Imbued. They were imbued with Christian faith. Frenetic. Not everyone is suited to the frenetic pace of the cities. Snag. The only snag is I'd have to move if I got a job. Rummage. She rummaged through every drawer of her ring. Condone. Our company does not condone discrimination in the workplace. Brusquerie. The woman explained the details of her plans brusquely. Derogatory. The lawmaker made derogatory remarks about out-of-party members. A brick. Everyone noticed his brick attack on the president yesterday. Rumble. His stomach rumbled so loudly that everyone in the room heard it. Gourd. He was goaded into losing his temper during the debates. Deduce. Police deduced from the evidence that he was involved in the robbery. A lie. The travel plans went awry, and all the buses to Cusco got cancelled. Thus, a dust of evidence made the police not charge her for the crime. Detest. As a child, he detested foods with strong flavors like kimchi or blue cheese. Agility. She did well on the test for agility. Uncanny. She has an uncanny resemblance to her deceased grandmother. Uncanny. Wager. More than $1 million was wagered on the horse race. Peruse. Please peruse the attached document before attending this afternoon's meeting. Invincible. The Roman Empire was once seen as invincible by all. Plenary. The second plenary meeting took place at the end of last month. Litigate. The company is preparing to litigate over software patents. Juncture. Any questions for the speaker can be asked at this juncture. Shriek. The hotel has a sleek and modern interior. Indulge. Every Friday, she indulges herself by buying expensive steak at the grocery store. Truth. They call that truth in a bottle for control of the family business. Facetious. The student's narrator gives facetious answers to the teacher. Prelude. His sickness was prelude of more bad things to come. Rival. The actor sued the newspaper for libel and won the case. Dangle. Her parents dangled the promise of a new toy if she behaved the entire day. Adjourn. The court session was adjourned for a short lunch break. Plausible. There is no plausible explanation for why he would intentionally break his computer. Altercation. The teachers had to spread up altercation between two students at recess. Convoluted. Her argument was too convoluted for me to follow. Immune. The best writers should be at least somewhat immune to criticism. Replicate. The students learned how to replicate as a scientist experiment. Deter. His parents deterred him for going on a trip while sick. Aggravate. High levels of stress aggravate her worsening health condition. Strain. Scientists are currently studying the new strain of the virus. Faction. Several opposing factions in the party joined forces to control. Demise. The demise of the horse carriaging industry was only a matter of time once car was invented. Lethal. This next vice can be lethal if not treated properly. Counterfeit. The criminals were caught distributing counterfeit bills to the public. Avert. We must work hard to avert the worst of climate change. Forensic analysis of piece of hair left at the crime scene was used to identify the criminal. Negate. This latest research negates the claim that a supplement can improve a person's cholesterol. Feasible. It is not feasible to provide such a high discount on our products. Diminish. Lack of sleep will diminish your ability to focus on the productive. Forge. The 3 countries forged alliance, which gave them strength in the war. Buy. Many athletes are vying for a place on the Olympic team. Wave. The university often waives the application fee for low-income students. Onset. The onset of disease usually occurs within the first few years of life. Slack. He tightened the slack rope securing the table to the track. Precedent. The judge's decision will set a precedent for future cases. Stark. There is a stark contrast to the style of the director's first 2 films. Anomaly. An anomaly was detected during a scan of her heart. Alleged. Alleged. She was in the news as a alleged dog thief. Entrench. Old-fashioned ideas about roles of men and women are still deeply entrenched in this society. Deportation. He faced deportation for breaking civil laws in the country. Verdict. The news incorrectly reported that the jury had given a verdict of guilty. Strand. They were stranded in the bay for hours after the boy's engine died. Eclipse. The scientist's discovery has been eclipsed by the scandal. Culprit. The police caught the culprit with the help of several civilians. Prerequisite. A clean driving record is prerequisite for applying. Cohesive. A cohesive team of workers can get more work done than working independently. Covert. She once took part in a covert operation run by the government. Hub. Toronto could be called the transportation hub of Canada. Right. He wrote a book about the plight of Syrian refugees. Spearhead. She spearheaded a campaign to improve music education in schools. Installment. He paid for this new car in 36 installments. Exemplify. These works fully exemplify her genius. Daunting. Moving somewhere you not anyone. The daunting task. Momentum. The investigation gained momentum after new evidence was discovered. Proximity. The proximity of the station made the hotel very convenient. Ubiquitous. The beverage company's eyes are ubiquitous and everyone is familiar with them. Arid. Some plants are best suited to arid conditions. Obscurity. The artist faded into obscurity after her tragic death. Banal. The theme spawned his poetry rather banal. Encroach. This chart shows how much the suburbs have encroached into the rural areas. Blister. I got a blister from my new boots. Longevity. The smartphone manufacturer is attempting to increase the longevity of its products. Verification. You will need to provide your phone number to complete the verification procedures. Envoy. That year, the dictator secretly sent an envoy to negotiate a treaty with the nation. Incur. She incurred a huge debt by gambling at casinos. Gauge. He changed the content of his speech after gauging the mood of the audience. Foster. This program aims to foster children's creativity. Smuggled. The men somehow smuggled several guns into the country. Eviction. The evictions of homeless people from the park made the national news. Rock. The thief rock in the bushes, waiting for everyone to leave. Dire. The war in the country has caused a dire situation. Leak. The mice infestation wreaked havoc on the electrical system. Version. The state budget over the past few decades still has budget. Cumulative. He studies the cumulative effects of exercise on health. Broad. Everyone in the office was brought to attention, wondering who will be fired. Decipher. She succeeded in deciphering the old documents after a 20-year study. Adherent. The celebrity is an adherent of obscuration. Bombardment. An aerial bombardment destroyed most of the city center of the following night. Jaguar. She is currently juggling a full-time job and freelance work. Unit 6. Explicit. The video game features strong language and explicit violence. Insulate. The carbon is fully insulated against the cold. Pivotal. Securing funding was pivotal in the success of a political campaign. Expedite the shipping of the new perfume collection. Subdued. The member of staff, in told in a subdued voice that he was not meeting the club's dress code. Destitute. Many people were left destitute after the hurricane destroyed their community. Grievance. Please take any grievances you may have to customer support. Arduous. Their climb to the top of the mountain was long and arduous. Oblivious. She was so focused on work that she was oblivious to the struggles of her husband. Recoup. The company never did recoup their losses and eventually went out of business. Demoralize. The captain's injuries in the opening minutes of the game demoralized their team. Fraudulent. He discovered fraudulent payments had been made with his credit card. Frantic. He became frantic when he noticed important documents were missing. Incremental. His doctor recommended making incremental changes in his diet over the following months. Afflict. The youngest child is afflicted with a skin condition. Plummet. The company's stocks plummeted after the insider trading scandal. Stunt. The band held a free announced concert in the park as a publicity stunt. Liable. Since he did not purchase insurance, he was liable for the damage to the vehicle. Promise. The whole premise of the report is actually incorrect. Demolition. The city is carrying out the demolition of a whole neighborhood. Turbulent. The castle has witnessed 250 years of turbulent history. Alert. Make sure to allot enough time to finish all your work. Dissect. They dissected a pig heart in biology class last week. Provision. The man could not agree with all of the provisions under this contract. Home. She is keen to hone her English-speaking skills. Jeopardy. Your reckless behavior put everyone's safety in jeopardy. Disintegration of the country's colonial empire continued over the following century. Misnomer. The term morning sickness is in fact a misnomer. Pitfall. Make sure you avoid the pitfalls of buying online. Meekly. She meekly accepted her new position in the department. Terrain. A small car like that would not be able to drive through the rough terrain. Brew. She brews a cup of coffee every morning right after waking up. Pseudonym. The famous crime novelist also wrote romances under pseudonym. Stars is a key to the success of your mission. Stars. Mosaic. The country is a mosaic of different cultures and religions. Ponder. She pondered whether she should leave her current company and accept the job offer. Flex. The bodybuilder flexed his muscles for the judges to see. Testament. The success of these knowledge graduates is testament to the value of hard work. Prudent. His father taught him at a young age to exercise prudence with his finances. Adjacent. His office is adjacent to a delicious Turkish restaurant. Confederation. The American colonies formed a confederation which enabled them to cooperate during their war for independence. Chant. Demonstrators chanted slogans against the increase in military spending. Endemic. An investigative report found that corruption is endemic in local government offices. Unravel. Scientists are working to unravel the secret of this incredible plant. Curfew. The government ordered a curfew in order to control the riots. Spate. Stick fire caused a spate of road accidents yesterday. Infringe. Don't infringe on our privacy. Crackdown. Crackdown. The police have launched a crackdown on crime in the city. Crackdown. Reminiscent. Reminiscent. The flower pattern dress is reminiscent of 1950s fashion. Aptitude. Aptitude. Her parents discovered aptitude for sport at a young age. Regenerate. Regenerate. The country hopes that easing of visa restrictions will regenerate the tourist industry. Fixture. Fixture. The artist's painting of Louis XIV is a permanent fixture in school history books. Perplex. She was perplexed by the content of the letter she received. Dissident. Dissident. Political dissidents in the country are sometimes sentenced to death. Report. 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 It is important for teachers to establish a close rapport with their students. Typify. Typify. The movie star typifies a macho image. Impurity. Impurity. The crowd stored with impunity, grabbing items of shelves right in front of the bookstore staff. Novice. Novice. Novice wine drinkers are often confused about what type of wine they should drink. Amnesty. Amnesty. The refugees were granted amnesty for entering the country illegally. Ablaze. Ablaze. The arsonists set the house ablaze using gasoline and some matches. Stipulation. Stipulation. There are no stipulations regarding injury in this contract. Commune. 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 He decided to join a commune in rural Kansas. Chronic. She has dealt with chronic pain ever since the car accident. Protocol. You need to fully understand and follow the company protocol. Temper. He was careful to temper his criticism with some words of praise as well. With respect. In retrospect, spending that much money on a toy was a bad idea. Interim. As an interim measure, we have decided to take a following approach. Capitalize. We need to capitalize on the gains we made in the last quarter. Antithesis. Some people say Laos is antithesis of selfishness. Ordinance. The city council passed a new ordinance banning farm animals. Line. The older desks in the classrooms are lined in even rows and columns. Repeal. Activists are working hard have several laws repealed. Underscore. This study underscores the need for stronger healthcare initiatives. Ardent. He is an ardent believer in practicing mindfulness through yoga. Depreciate. The value of new cars depreciate rapidly after the first year. Hype. The director's movies always live up to the hype. Adversary. Our political adversary has much more funding than she does. Moratorium. The government has declared a moratorium on lobster fishing. Airing. He went to visit his ailing father in the retirement home. Relentless. A manager put relentless pressure on her to meet sales targets. Transient. Cherry blossoms appreciated more due to their transient nature. Orchestrate. He orchestrated the merging of two rival companies last year. Sprout. The seeds sprouted within the just few days of planting them. Assailed. The movie was assailed by critics for its numerous plot holes and unrealistic characters. Affable. She is an affable person who is great to take out. Disheveled. She was late for work, so her and clothes were disheveled. Insatiable. He has an insatiable appetite for anything made from fruit. Defraud. The woman used several fake identities to defraud the bank. Arcane. He has arcane knowledge of the forests and rivers. Autonomously. autonomously. There are still many problems with cars that can drive autonomously. Distraught. She was distraught over the losses of childhood stuffed animals. A fix. She affixed a stamp to the letter, then dropped it in the mailbox. Wayward. They are concerned about the son's wayward behavior. Rude. The CEO alluded to his possible retirement at a Christmas party. Cordon. Police formed a cordon around the building to prevent any civilians from entering. Tattered. The ongoing war has the whole country in tatters. Careen. The car careened around the corner at a dangerous speed. Haggard. She was not used to haggling, so she ended up paying much for the items. Contrition. The lack of contrition of his face was apparent to all. Woo. Aspiring pop stars are wooed by promises of fame and fortune. Retroactively. The mayor was harshly criticized for trying to enforce a new law retroactively. Rowdy. Neighbors are always throwing rowdy parties. Stump. She was stumped by the daughter's complicated math homework. Protrude. People on the beach saw the thing protruding from the water and panicked. Laudable. While the aim is laudable, there will be many challenges ahead. Chauvinism. Male chauvinism was still the norm in the early 1900s. Skirmish. There was a small skirmish on the border of the two countries. Austerity. The Great Depression of the 1930s was a period of great austerity. Abort. They had to abort the flight because of poor visibility. Pride. His neighbors always trying to pry into his private life. Connoisseur. He's a connoisseur of Japanese art and a collector of ukiyo-e prints. Impassive. He remained impassive during the hearing. Extenuating. This will only be waived in extreme circumstances. Nocturnal. Hours are nocturnals. It is rare to see one during the day. Squalid. She could not believe the squalid living conditions of the people in the slum. Posthumous. The journalist was honored with posthumous award. Maneuver. The creative military maneuver saved the lives of many troops. Brawl. A brawl broke out between two groups of friends at a hockey game. Chiseled. He spent countless hours at a chiseled gym to get his chiseled arms deadlock. The negotiations appeared to have reached a total deadlock. It's 7. Zest. With her zest for life, she tends to improve the mood and energy of everyone around her. Omit. The candidate's name was omitted from the list. Audacity. The actress was shocked at the audacity of the interviewer when asked such a personal question. Devoid. The ocean floor is mostly devoid of life, but there are some rare life forms down there. Malaise. Those symptoms may be accompanied by headache and the feeling of malaise. Avenge. The story is about women who tries to avenge the murder of a husband. Blair. The ambulance sirens brares as it sped through the neighborhood. Regurgitate. Many boys regurgitate food to their chicks. Convene. The school board convened a meeting to address parents' concerns about the new textbook. Severed. When she turned 18, she severed her ties with her abusive parents. Scattered. The company had to scatter its plans to hire more people after serious targets were not reached. Intravenous. The patient's antibiotics were administered via an intravenous strip. he surreptitiously looked through his girlfriend's phone while she was in the bathroom, painstaking. The artist painted each tiny character in painstaking detail. Illegible. His handwriting was totally illegible, and I couldn't figure out what was written. Ratification. The senator strongly opposed the ratification of the treaty. Scam. Don't use this website. It has to be a scam. Equitable. The court ordered an equitable distribution of the divorced couple's assets. Innately. She believes that humans are innately good. Grudge. She still holds a grudge against a sister for stealing her boyfriend. Optimum. We need to make optimum use of natural resources. Converge. Local citizens converged on the construction site, protesting the building project. Snowball. The cost of the building began to snowball as the planning progressed. Abridged. Students in high school usually read an abridged version of the novel. Thrifty. As a thrifty person, she is always finding deals and coupons for things. Mutter something under his breath after she told him to clean up his room. Enunciate your words that everyone can understand you. Inhale. Be careful not to inhale the fumes when you spray. Consignment. The shop received a large consignment of books to be sold. Frazzled. She was feeling frazzled after a long day at work. Irrepressible. She is irrepressible, which makes up for a lack of technical skills. Debrief. The battle was debriefed immediately after his flight. Expropriate. The government plans to expropriate the land to build an airport. Relish. She relished a chance to try authentic Thai food during her visit to Chiang Mai. Atrocious. The documentary pointed out that atrocious living conditions in the refugee camps. Infuse. The teacher infused his students with enthusiasm for learning. Assiduous. The engineer's assiduous attention to details results in programs with huge novas. Detonate. Special tools are used to remove the landmines without detonating them. Sumptuous. The sumptuous banquet featured exotic foods around the world. Huddled. The sports car huddled down the highway at dangerously high speed. Profusion. Every spring, the garden produced a profusion of colorful flowers. Perspire. He was perspiring heavily under his thick uniform. Impromptu. He suddenly stood up and made an impromptu speech. Indiscretion. His indiscretion of sharing confidential company information with a reporter caused his job. Catapult. The young singer's hit song catapulted her into fame. Jest. The governor explained that the comments were said entirely in jest. Teeter. The steer is teetering on the brink of financial collapse. Foolish. Everyone thought this rare footage from the old movie had been lost. Amiable. His grandmother was an amiable person who was known for being kind to everyone she met. Idly. He will not stand idly by while others went in danger. Bug. Her secretary balked at the task of filing huge pile of documents. Degenerate. The once thriving district has degenerated into an area filled with graffiti and abandoned buildings. Secrete. Insulin is secreted when the blood sugar level rises. Quizzical. He came up to me with a quizzical expression. Dazzle. The soccer player dazzled the fans with his outstanding skills. Upshot. The upshot of the meeting was that advertising budget should be increased. Dupe. She was duped by the fake news articles claim about the dangers of medicine. Insurgency. The communist insurgency in the Philippines, also known as the Hakblaha Rebellion, began in 1946. Proscribe. The country prescribes many actions that are out in free democracies. Slam. The press have slammed the company for its unsafe working conditions. Breach. 違ったな今。The software glitch caused the program to freeze for a few seconds. Error. The property has a large area and the arable land could be used to grow crops. Rant. Every time I meet him, he rants about how terrible his life is. Recurrent. Their son often woke up screaming for the recurrent nightmare. Orator. The famous orator gets paid thousands of dollars to speak at company events. Bear. He called his sister from jail to ask if she lent him money for bail. Bogus. He was arrested for carrying a bogus passport. Query. His job mostly involves responding to customers' queries regarding their online orders. Risk. The security guard freaks the man to make sure he was not carrying any weapons. Secluded. He completed his novel while staying at a secluded cabin in the woods. Infallible. The car's navigation system is not infallible, so please confirm your read before proceeding. Expletive. I further read out the string expletives, so he dropped the heavy joint on his foot. Cringe. The hip-hop team has clinched a place in playoffs with his most recent wins. Congenial. The small company has a congenial atmosphere and is overall a pleasant place to work. Headway. The construction team made significant headway in the building despite the poor weather. Complicity. She was not present at the robbery, but she was found guilty of complicity in the crime. Memento. The box was filled with photographs and mementos from his childhood commensurate. He likes the job, but his salary is not commensurate with the amount of work required. Dormant. The volcano has remained dormant since 1859. Haven. The nature preserve provides a safe haven for wildlife. Forego. Monks are required to forego a number of woodly pleasure that regular people enjoy. Drive. Rumors are live that the company will lay off employees next month. Restraint. He wanted to order the crab, but he showed restraint and got a cheaper dish instead. Tentative. These plans are tentative, as we do not know the exact dates of a trip yet. Stammer. The witness stammered, and the girl visibly nervous as Tony asked them more questions. Yardstick. Material base is not only yardstick for success. Rudimentary. The Sumerians developed rudimentary technology for irrigation and agriculture. Cliched. Most critics complain about the film's cliched characters and situations. Gust. A strong gust of wind turned his umbrella inside out. Redress. They are seeking redress for unfair dismissal. Hurt. His wife's curt response to his question made it clear she was upset about something. Ensconce. In the evenings, he ensconced himself in his office to focus on his novel. Double. All the members labored in the huge success of their first album. Premeditated. Prison sentences are usually longer for crimes that are premeditated rather than just opportunistic. Intermittently. He fires intermittently and usually only eats between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. Transitory. Jim Bester believes the economic slowdown is transitory. imprudent. It would be imprudent to ignore the potential problem. Aware. He availed himself the opportunity to attend the programming classes for free. Rust. After their father died, he tried to wrest control of the company from his brothers. A bit. The woman who broke the law was accused of preventing Robert's escape. Confound. He was completely confounded by the complex instruction in the recipe. Intrinsic. Children have an intrinsic desire to understand the world around them. Oust. After 3 years of ruling, the dictator was ousted from power. Disparage. She was careful not to disparage her employees' ideas in front of their peers. Brandish. The man brandished a knife and told the woman to give him a purse. Relapse. After 10 years of being sober, the loss of his mother caused him to relapse. Morsel. As a vegetarian, she has not eaten a morsel of meat for 5 years. Excavate. Once the fossils have been excavated, they were displayed in the local museum. Barter. The company's volatile stock price has scared away most investors. Devious. Halfway through the movie, the hero uncovers a villain's devious plan to poison the water supply. Tenet. Limiting the suffering of living creatures is a major tenet of Buddhism. Appease. People in ancient civilizations often sacrificed animals to appease their gods. Instigate. The man who insulted him was clearly trying to instigate a fight. Resonate. His powerful singing voice resonated throughout the concert hall. Obliterate. The building was completely obliterated into tornado. Jostle. Members of the audience jostled each other to get a better view of the celebrity. Hunch. She had a hunch that the stock market would crash, so she sold her shares. Lament. Fans lament the untimely death of the young actress. Trample. Her remark trampled the boy's innocent feelings. Squabble. The two kids squabbled over how should get first 11. Myth 8. Resilient. The human body can be amazingly resilient. Boyd. Volunteering helped to fill the void after he lost his wife in the accident. Innocuous. He started the speech with an innocuous joke about the weather. Taunt. The soccer player was penalized for taunting his opponent. Reverberate. The announcer's voice reverberated throughout the stadium as he spoke. Illustrious. He is one of Japan's most illustrious authors. Verbose. In contrast to Hemingway's concise writing style, Frontenac's was more verbose. Gallant. The gallant firefighter ran back into the building to save Charlie trapped upstairs. Pulverize. Put all the ingredients in the food processor and pulverize them into a fine powder. Forlorn. Her regard was wrong and looked forlorn. Embittered. She is an embittered reader of both fiction and non-fiction. Pester. Her son pestered her for a new toy, but she did not buy one. Mirage. They thought they were walking to water, but it was just a mirage. Ingratiate. He is eager to ingratiate himself with his new boss. Transgression. He is old enough to understand stealing is a transgression. Usurp. The young king quickly crushed the attempt to usurp the throne. Exasperate. It is exasperated by the computer's refusal to print the document. Resuscitate. The patient had stopped for a while, but medics were able to resuscitate him. Sojourn. The internet traffic is absorbed soldier the popular ski town. Perry. The spokesperson cleverly parried every question about the recent factory fire. Pageant. Carnival the Bronchial Traditional Pageant celebrated annually in Colombia. Omniscient. This novel is a third-person narrative and told by an omniscient narrator. Propitious. Surprisingly, the session is a propitious time to start a business. Fumble. He fumbled for switch in the dark. Enumerate. The little girl enumerated all of the reasons her parents should buy her pony. Petulant. Stop acting like a petulant child. Hamper. The language barrier hampered communication with the native people. Dismantle. I dismantled my bike to give it a sort of training. Stigma. The stigma surrounding couple therapy prevents many from seeking it out. Deviate. Benjamin Franklin barely deviated from his daily routine, which started at 5 a.m. 45. William the Conqueror's White Tower was fortified with a moat and defensive walls. Cerebral. She is a very cerebral comedian, so many people do not understand her jokes. Coalesce. Those groups gradually coalesce into a political party. Forage. Primitive humans likely spend much of their time foraging for food. Hedge. She bought bonds as a hedge against stock market risk. Shackle. The lack of bonds shackled a small company's growth potential. Relinquish. Due to illness, she has no choice but to relinquish control of the company. Smear. He smeared butter thickly on his toast. Benevolent. The benevolent woman helped the lost child find his mother. Scourge. The bubonic plague was a scourge that killed millions of people across Europe. Segregate. The land was segregated into smoking and non-smoking areas. Preside. A neutral third party was asked to preside over the negotiations. Circumspect. The unfortunate experience taught him to be circumspect in dealing with strangers. Conglomeration. The conglomeration of luxury brands is now owned by a single company. Venerable. Every year, the people hold a festival to celebrate their venerable leader. Combustion. The invention of the combustion engine revolutionized by the transportation industry. Illicit. She was arrested for attempting to sell illicit drugs. Sequester. The judge ordered the jury sequester to ensure a fair trial. Sustenance. The people of the village depend on the river for sustenance. Subjugate. The conqueror sought to subjugate every nation bordering his country. Covet. She felt guilty for coveting her best friend's diamond ring. Abominable. The food at the restaurant was good, but the service was abominable. Soggy. The bread got soggy with the sauce. Precipitate. The founder's death precipitated a crisis within the company. Foray. They made a foray into enemy territory. Prodigy. The young prodigy was a champion chess player by the age of 7. Allure. The allure of the city attracts young people from more rural areas. Decoy. The criminal used the decoy to distract the police while he escaped. Furtive. The two boys exchanged furtive smiles from across the classroom. Snub. She said hello to him, but he just snapped her. Irascible. Alexander the Great was an irascible man with a very short temper. Rejuvenate. She went a spa in hopes of rejuvenating her retired body. Green. The chess player has learned new strategies from each of his opponents. Emulate. The Buddhist monk emulates peace and harmony, which makes everyone around him feel calmer. Rectify. The politician wants to rectify his damaged reputation before the next election. Garnish. If you're serving the dishes to guests, garnish it with lemon slices. Insular. The village is quite isolated and people there are extricate. A what later, they are finally able to extricate the dog from the drain pipe. We can't. The politician recants a statement after learning that it was false. Dreary. The dreary weather made her want to stay in bed, reading all day. Morals. Became worse after his marriage ended unexpectedly. Treat. The book is full of trite sentiments like money cannot buy happiness. Ornate. The grandmother wrapped ornate jewelry with intricate design and large gemstones. Decrepit. The decrepit building was transformed into an excellent hotel. Impalpable. Radiation is invisible and impalpable. Sham. The report turned out to be a complete sham. Prevaricate. Stop prevaricating and tell me why you did not finish your homework. Renunciation. These negotiations led to the renunciation of tourism. Sluggish. Economic recovery throughout the country has been sluggish, which has been a problem for businesses. Regress. After the severe injury to her head, she regressed to a childlike state. Superfluous. All software has superfluous functions. Enthralled. He sure enthralled the audience with his dynamic dance. Perforation. The perforations in the paper make it easier to tear out the notebook. Debase. Some claim that professional sports have been debased by commercialism. Vestige. The still remains a vestige of the ancient culture in their life. Proviso. This article contains several important provisos. Remissions. His council has gone into that remission, so he's holding a party to celebrate. Foment. The government has accused media outlets of helping foment the unrest. Travesty. The judge's decision is a travesty of justice. Procrastinate. Because he procrastinates, he is always highly stressed right before a deadline. Nebulous. At first, the plan was pretty nebulous. Crump. Some kids were throwing clumps of dirt at wall. Tally. The manager keeps a tally of the restaurant's expenses and revenue. Saturate. She saturated a sponge with water before covering the dishes. Rendition. Their band raised a rock on the of the popular hip-hop song. Pensive. Where he's feeling pensive, he often writes poetry and goes for long walk. Charade. Everyone is saying their marriage is a charade. Caricature. The caricature and project shared widely on social media. Culture. Entangled. The dolphin became entangled in a fishing net. Piety. The priest praised him for his extreme piety. Babble. My friends will babble on forever about politics unless you tell him to stop. Propel. The powerful engines propel the satellites into space. Vanquish. He quickly vanquished all of his enemies in the video game. Reborn. After she caused a second accident, a judge revoked her driver's license. Precinct. That is the police station for this precinct. Inaugurate. Thousands attend the ceremony to inaugurate the new president. Incipit. The speed movie has poor character development and a lack of tension or conflict. Indignant. Jessica became indignant when she was wrongly blamed for the data entry error. Permissioned. The day of the earthquake, she had had a permission that something bad would happen. Dexterity. The athlete handles a board with impressive dexterity. Wrench. The toddler tried to wrench himself free for his mother's grip. Ecstatic. She was ecstatic when they announced her with a word. Cork. Everyone's their own unique quirks. Regard. He regards as the story of Jesus as pirate. Vacillate. He vacillated between two choices. Concoct. He concocted a story about his car breaking down. He was late for work. Pilfer. A co-worker accused him of pilfering money from the company. Prescient. The economist was prescient about the financial crisis. Suffocate. Two men were found in a car suffocated to death. Intrepid. The intrepid explorer traveled deep into the Amazon rainforest. 入れてない。ここまでかな？ここまでですね。よし。入れてないまで。OK。スイ。コメントあるかな？よし。あ、4 views ということで、ありがとうございます。ないよね。OK。以上ということで、ありがとうございました。ではまた、バイバイ。ありがとうございます。ごきげんよう。それでは、バイチャ。